Because they were asking me a question. No, we ended up doing the form, so that was better. When I was working over there, she couldn't see me. She probably heard me talking. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. This is Tai Chi Paradigm for Parkinson's. We're going to go through the warm-ups as usual and, just giving you another taste of what we've been working on. We start off with our feet in this 90-degree angle, form the circle, and as I always say, form this hoop position. Don't forget the three geometric shapes. The geometry position is the triangle, the circle, and the square. So square is parallel, and they're kind of like this. Triangles are your elbows are slightly bent. If you look from the side view, it looks like that. And the circle is this. Okay. This is also a circle. It's really this circle. All right, first exercise like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, so that's just kind of activating your torso and moving your body so the body feels more relaxed in a sense, because you can't move if the body is tense. Bending to the side, kind of open up the ribs. Ready? 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gently bending. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. So we lift up. Hands are square. If this helps, put your hands on your legs, kind of support yourself. Let yourself go as much as you can. Release the tension in the legs. Go to one side, then you go to the other side, and then you're back. And you go inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, exhale. And any of these stretches, they're not done fast, so make sure you don't like bounce through the movement and kind of put a lot of force into it. Just kind of let the muscle let go and feel like you're going a little bit lower if you can, and that's just releasing the tension. Okay, hands on your waist. We have to make a few circles, so it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Okay, we're going to cross the forearms. We're going to reach down, touch the kneecaps, and kind of put your palms over your knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, now we're going to spread the feet, So you pivot on the toes, the heel, and the toe. We can close it up. That's actually pivoting the feet. So we start off with a V position. 1, 2, 3. Close it up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we start in the V, and we open up. 1, 2, and 3. Once you opened up, relax the arms and turn your back. Again, this time you're just swinging the arms. Let them kind of relax and free fall. Swing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you look like this when you're turning. Just kind of look a little bit behind you. Just kind of increase your sort of range of your twists, and that actually works your core, your torso, your back, and get things kind of moving. Because there's a lot of, tension kind of restricts, so we keep moving. The circulation actually helps to improve, and it actually alleviates some of the rigidity or stiffness that you might feel in the body. Movement is key, so you have to actually just do some gentle movement, and that's what we're doing here. Okay, now next, after doing the swing, we're going to pull the feet back together like this. Okay, hands on your hips, and we're going to straighten the feet. That's your squaring up of the feet. And we pull it back together again, squaring of the feet. Now we're going to kick this heel that way and turn. Then we'll go forward and back, and then we're going to come back toward the front. So just steer yourself in a direction. You're using your feet to steer you in a direction. So this is a heel pivot. This is a toe pivot. This is a toe pivot and a heel. So, it might take a little practice if you have maybe a little bit of problems with the control of which is which. So the only way to actually learn this is to actually do it. The ball of the foot, the heel, and you go forward and back. The heel and the toe or the ball of the foot, and then the ball of the foot, and then the heel. Go forward and back, and then we're on the heel again. So this toe and heel, heel and toe, if you just do this stepping like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's kind of like doing a stair climb or climbing stairs. You're going to kind of go press and up. So it takes a little coordination to do that, but it gives you a sense of where the balls of your feet are, and you feel your heel touch down. So kind of focus on what that feels like, and then work it till you build that coordination. And it's just the knee forward, and your knees will go out and back, out and back. So you see, that's working the soles of your feet. And that's going to actually help when you walk. You actually go on the heel, and then you roll to the toe. You go to the heel, and you roll to the toe. And so this is what we have to do to get our feet involved, because we don't actually use our feet as much as we should. We don't go on the balls of the feet or the heel by wearing shoes that are really not very flexible. So I wear these really thin shoes. It allows my toes to fold. It allows my heel to go down. My shoes don't have a giant heel, so I'm not like this. If you're up on your toes, your calves get pretty tight, and your Achilles tendon actually becomes a little bit shorter. And when you're up on your toes, you have to actually lock your ankle so you can hold you in this position. So you have that holding position, but then you have to kind of let it go so your ankle stays fairly loose and pliable. So when you walk, your ankle has to kind of move. So that helps you kind of sort of be grounded a lot more, because, the softer your feet are, the better your sensitivity will be to, how your foot kind of molds to the step. we don't do that enough because we don't walk a lot, and when you do walk, you're kind of just going through the motions. We want to actually learn how to make a transition. So I focus a lot on stepping, pivoting, and turning, and then ultimately you still have to shift weight. So when we step forward and we shift weight, we're really supporting our weight over that foot. So the better you get with shifting your weight and taking the next step, the better your walking will be. Turning corners is really just getting you into that corner, then you take that step, and then you turn and you take that step. So you notice when I got to here, I pivoted on my heel and I went to my toe. And then you take your next step, and depending on where you're going, if I'm here, so this is just practicing from, say, this parallel foot position. And a parallel foot position, actually put your feet together, touching the insides of your feet. Now, on the outside edge of this foot is where your inside edge ends up. So it's about 3 or 4 inches, so it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches as sort of a natural standing position. Then you have the shoulder width stance, which is a little bit wider. So the shoulder width stance is what we do, what the stance that we use when we're doing these warm-ups. But in walking, we want to be a little bit closer. Do go to the 2 or 3 inch space, a little bit wider if your hips are really wide. But keep that in mind that your feet are about here with 2 or 3 inches, and the line that goes through divides that space. And your foot should be, when you walk, on one side or the other. So you're always walking toward that, maintaining that space. Okay, so you don't walk a tightrope by walking like this, because then you're like this. And you don't go to a shoulder width stance, because then if you walk straight, you're going to end up waddling like this. And the waddling comes from the extreme shift of weight going from side to side. So we don't need to do that. When we're walking going forward, it's much more efficient to keep that 2 or 3 inch space and just kind of walk straight using that. So you're going to be, the base will be a little bit narrower and your shoulders are going to be a little bit wider than that. So you're kind of like in this upside down triangular position. So you have to loosen the upper body, because if you keep the upper body tense while you're walking, you're going to feel unstable. So to help alleviate some of the tension in the body and keeping that profile so that you're not wide up here and then walking like this, we narrow the profile a little bit by turning the shoulders and swinging the arms. Okay, so if we take a step and we walk and we walk and we walk and we walk, and we keep the profile by moving our arms, and when we do this, when we turn like this and turn like this, that's why we turn the waist. We turn the waist so we get familiar with the shoulders twisting, and then when you walk, you actually free up your torso and your core a bit, so that when we walk, we can build up this coordination where the body kind of stays together. And this is what you can practice. You get that twist going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you can walk 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, depending how much room you have lengthwise in the space you're practicing. If you don't have the space, just do 3 steps, and then turn and do 3 steps. So I'm pretty sure you have 6 feet, in front of you, right? You're standing in this center. This is 3 feet. 1, 2, 3. If I go 1, 2, 3, I have that 3. If I turn here, I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I go back to center. I turn this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're back to this. So I was just kind of mapping out the square footage you would need to practice. And if your space is smaller than that, I guess you just go 1, 2, 1, 2. If you really don't have any space, then you can just do this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So your opposite foot in the hand goes forward, and you're doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you do the other side. You're going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now if I turn sideways, I can do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. If I turn to the other way, it's opposite, 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 3, 4. If I turn this way, I can do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one drill you can do to get the coordination and twisting the shoulders a little bit so you keep and maintain this center line. You build that coordination with the hands and feet. That's a natural way of walking when you go forward and back. So when you do it like this, you're actually controlling not just the coordination, but now you're carrying your weight on this supporting foot. Okay, so when you take a step forward, especially if you're passing through, you have to support your weight here before I can pick this foot and put it down and roll forward and put it down to roll forward. If you don't go through that type of procedure, that's sort of the mechanics of the movement. If you don't do it like that, you're not really controlling your weight. Your center of mass has to be controlled, carrying the weight over this foot each and every time. It's just a practice to get familiar with it, and do it and do it and do it till you strengthen the your legs and your upper body, and not to build tremendous muscular strength, but strengthen the movement, so that once you do it enough, you start to recognize that that's what I have to do. And because we're learning this, paying attention and being conscious of what's happening, you can draw off of that if you have a problem taking a first step. So because we know that when we take that first step, we have to hesitate and then take the next step and then hesitate as a practice, so we're always in a position that we can draw off of as a tool. You're using this as a training tool. Now, once the feet are together and your feet are parallel like this, and I want to go into the corners, depending on, this is my right, this is my left. In your case, it's your right, and then left if it's mirror image. I'm going to turn just 45 degrees. Now I'm looking at that corner, and then I head over there. I want to go to this corner, I turn, and then I take my step. Now you can practice and then always take a right step to initiate a movement, as to create the idea that the right foot moves first, and then it becomes something, maybe something that you can draw off of as a training. Because when I turn in this direction, sometimes you might say, oh, I can't take my first step. Well, if you just practice moving that front foot first, your right foot, then you shift your weight and then you're on your way. If I go this way, you don't have to go to the left foot. Just use your right foot to initiate the move. Get used to doing that, and then if you get stuck, you might have a sort of deja vu. You say, no, okay, I got to take my right foot. Turn 90 degrees and it takes you all the way to my right side, and then if I want to go this way, I turn and I start here, and then 1, 2, 3. So, if you don't want, that looks kind of robotic, and you say, well, that's might be obvious that you're doing that. But actually, if you pass through here and, just kind of hesitate a second, depends how long you stop here to move. 1, 2, 3. If I turn here, just for an instant, so it's just like checking your weight, giving yourself a little opportunity to sort of regain your composure, to make your step going to the right or left. And believe it or not, if you do it enough, like anything else, we're creatures of habit, and we're people that we learn through doing it over and over again. So I know, sometimes, when people try to do something and they don't have an idea how to begin, it's helpful to start like this, to know that the foot moves and you kind of get this kind of action going, and the next thing you know, you'll be able to do this. And the thing is, we have to go through the motions to actually learn how to do this. So the learning curve could be steeper for some people, but if this makes sense to you, then this is something you can practice. Now, these are very simple. It's not really very physically demanding, because physically demanding, you might get tired. If it's too physically demanding, you might get sore. All these things could happen from just the body responding. But the thing is, what I'm trying to give you is the ideas, sort of a method to work with, and it gives you something to practice, and not going to too extreme with a lot of sequential type things. Right now, we're working with just learning to walk forward, and if we walk backwards, like I said, you walk forward with the right, then you go backwards with the left. Go forward with the right, go backward with the left. So you just go 2 or 3 steps forward, 2 or 3 steps back, until you get familiar. Now, because you're only going 3 steps back and you're just returning to where you started from, it doesn't become too risky, because if you did 3 steps forward and then 10 steps backwards and you don't know what's behind you, you could end up tripping and falling over something that's behind you. But because we're not doing that, we're starting from a clear space, so we go forward, back 3 times, then I go back 1, 2, 3. I just return to where I started, and it should be, because it's only 3 steps, it should be fairly safe. But if you're doing it, if someone's in the room, just be careful, or have someone kind of monitor you while you're doing this. Otherwise, it could be a little bit risky if you don't know what's behind you. So if that's a problem for you going backwards because we can't see, then you just do it forward. Now, if you're in a room and you have a full-length mirror, you could actually use the mirror to kind of see what's around you, and that way that's a little bit clearer to you too. It's like if I see here, I know nothing is behind me, so if I'm going backwards, I know it's clear. You don't want to be doing these type of things when there's stuff all over the floor so that you can trip on. Clear your space, get 6 square feet of space, and just kind of work within the realm of that space. Okay, so that's really what I try to get across each and every class, is how to walk, how to turn the corner. The last class we did some of this when we turn and we have the vertical elbow. Okay, and then we go forward and back with the legs. This is shifting of weight. So when you shift forward, you press and you go to vertical on this side. We go back to the center and we switch sides. Remember, the toe on the same side and the fingertips are on the same side. You go forward and back, forward and back. So what is this? This is vertical. This is horizontal. The hands join here and you go forward and you go back, and that's it. Go back to center, go to the other side and bring the hands up. You go to horizontal. This is the horizontal. And you press, and then you go back, and then you come back to your center. So you go this way and this way. If I say right, that's my right, your left, because it'll be mirror image. So, but it doesn't really matter if you're practicing it. The concern of right and left really doesn't matter, because once you start in this side, you end up on this side. Once you start on this side, you end up on this side. So it's really just going from side to side. So all we're doing is for here and forward to the corners. We don't go backwards to the rear corner on a diagonal. We just go straight back. So hopefully that information is helpful. The more you practice, the better you get. You don't have to do this, thousands of times. Just do 10 or 15 times, just enough to keep it fresh in your mind. You can do it several times a day. Like I said, it's not too physical. But after doing it consistently for a while, you'll probably you'll recognize this when you see the video, and then you can do it. And I can't really expand on too many things, in this short amount of time. But at least if you get this down, then we have something to add on as you move forward. We've done circles like this, circles like this. We've done more of the sequence, but I think a lot of too much information sometimes is just mind-boggling. So I keep it as simple as possible so that the tendency is for you to do it, because if it's too much and you can't remember it, then it becomes sort of counterproductive and you're not going to do it. So just remember upper body, side to sides, and front to back, up and down. So there's just 3 stretches. We make a circle with the waist. We make a circle with the legs. That's a knee exercise. And then if we turn the head, I don't think we even did this one today as a neck exercise. So neck exercise is typical. You look this way, you look this way, you tilt this way and forward and back. So that just takes out some of the tension that might be in your neck. But I think a lot of the tension is in your torso. And that's not good because that causes a lot of stress. In fact, I've been talking about that they've done research and they've found that the core area and the muscles in your axial part of the body is tied directly to the stress reflex, and so that's something that keep in mind, that your body, if it's tense, is going to be stressful for you. So anyways, let's practice a little bit, and I'll see you next time. It's next Thursday, 10 past 11. I usually do this, and if you have a question or feedback, you can send it in a chat if you want, and then I can maybe try to answer that or do that in the next class. We'll see what happens. Okay.